Already today, I'm seeing a lot of people on social media using the phrase Happy Memorial Day. And I've always had mixed feelings about this phrase. Memorial Day is a holiday to honor the fallen, the 1.3 million Americans, men and women in uniform, who've given their lives to ensure that this 243-year-old experiment with representative democracy could continue. And there's a reason that the United States is the only representative democracy that's been going for longer than 200 years. And that's because of these men and women's sacrifice. So there really isn't a whole lot that's happy about that. We honor their sacrifice, but that's too many lives lost to ever be cause for celebration. And yet, Memorial Day is also a holiday for barbecues and partying with family and friends. Now, for so long, I scoffed at the idea that Memorial Day could be a cause for celebration. There are 364 other days in the year to barbecue and to party. Did you really have to choose this day to do it? But the pandemic changed my view of all this. For almost 3 months, most Americans have had to endure some kind of quarantine or shelter-in-place orders. They've been forced to stay at home, and they were prohibited from spending any unnecessary time outside. We've seen lives and livelihoods ruined by what history will ultimately describe as the biggest overreaction to a virus that the CDC now reports has a survivability rate of 99.7%. That's right, the CDC now estimates that of the people who contract the coronavirus, only 0.3% will perish. And obviously, that's a terrible number. Every life lost is a tragedy. But this was an overreaction. We have seen tyranny take root in this country at a level that we haven't seen since the colonial periods. Mayors and governors got a small taste of the extent of their emergency powers, and it didn't take long for those powers to corrupt absolutely. Gun stores were forced to close without any justification other than the fact that the politicians who signed the orders hate the Second Amendment. A protester in New York City fighting against the lockdown order was actually tackled to the ground by police officers after it was determined they had no right to protest. The President of the United States said on Friday that states and localities can no longer prohibit churches from reopening, and these leftists actually accused the President of the United States of violating the Constitution, of infringing on states' rights, as if states have some right to violate the First Amendment. The fight is nowhere near over, but as I watch my neighbors barbecuing and partying in their backyards, I understand the cause for celebration on this solemn holiday. Now, as I said, 1.3 million American men and women in uniform have paid the ultimate sacrifice over the years for this country. Each and every Memorial Day, we tell our community, our viewers, our readers, to make sure that they live a life that is worthy of that sacrifice. Make sure that the sacrifices paid by these 1.3 million men and women were not in vain. And as I look around, I'm asking myself the question, what would those fallen heroes say if they could see us cowering in our homes, afraid of being caught disobeying unconstitutional shelter-in-place, stay-at-home orders? What would they say? So while it might seem counterintuitive, this Memorial Day truly is a day for celebration. We celebrate the fact that despite their best efforts, the leftists who have tried to use this virus as an excuse to erode our rights, they have failed. Our 243-year-old experiment with representative democracy will go on despite the Democrats' best efforts to use this virus as an excuse to push us down the path of socialism. While I usually spend Memorial Day in solemn remembrance of the fallen, today I am going to fire up the barbecue. I'm going to crack open a beer, and I'm going to go outside and play with my son in the backyard if it will stop raining. Why? Because there's a shockingly large number of leftists who, if they had their way, would use the virus as an excuse to block me from doing all of this. The way to honor the fallen today is to celebrate. No, not to celebrate their deaths. That would be terrible. No, today we celebrate the rights that they died defending. We celebrate the fact that 1.3 million Americans died so that free men and women would never need to ask the government's permission before being allowed to go outside. And we celebrate the fact that even though Democrats tried to use this pandemic to erode our rights, they've ultimately failed. So yes, to honor the fallen, remember their sacrifice, but also celebrate the fact that the rights they died to protect survive and will continue to survive. Now, if you like this video, please do hit the share button. Please do like it. Please do leave a comment. We want to get this out to as many people as possible. And the only way we can do that is if you do like, comment, and share. Thank you so much.